There's Augie.
Well, good morning, everybody, and today we have Luke and Augie here with us on Discord. How are you going, guys? And Sean. Luke, Augie, and Sean have joined us on Discord. Don't forget, if you want to come on and say hello on the Discord, links down below in the description box. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's happening on the other side of the world today?
Oh, not much today.
Not much today.
Working on I had to. My mom needed a door replaced on her shed because it had a hole in it, and I'm like, so put Bondo in it.
Bondo. Well, what's a Bondo?
No, let's do it like body filler for cars.
Oh, really?
But no, we had to tear this thing out and put a new one in, and of course the new one's bigger than the old one, and yeah, hours.
I used to do repairs around the house with fiberglass mat and resin, basically fiberglass things together.
Oh yeah.
That used to work pretty well in those days. Fill out those holes, makes it stronger than before. Yeah, but bogging something, no, I can't see how bog would work. That stuff falls out.
Well, this is just an old shed and her old trailer that they're selling, so I'm like, why are we putting all this effort into this really nice door for this crappy old shed?
G'day, Wayne York, how you doing? So what's happening? What's happening around your way, Augie? You got your volume working today? Nothing.
Been watching Eureka.
Eureka. Oh, that's a series from a while ago.
Oh yeah.
I used to watch that. That was a pretty good series. A lot of fun. And
my audio is crap again.
no, that's sort of sounding right. Maybe I just could turn you up a little bit.
And mine's not great either.
It's what I'm hearing from you. I bet if I go on YouTube, I'll get better audio.
Really? Was it? What about the audio for other people? So, like, am I cutting out too much? Am I? Let me turn down the sensitivity a bit more. I'll take it down to 70 dB. See if that makes it any better.
It actually did.
It did? Yeah, it's just that cut-off volume, what that Vox turning on and off.
Now you're breaking up.
Yeah, I'm breaking up again. It's weird, isn't it? Yeah, so, and Luke, what's happening down your way?
The usual spring in Texas. So we've had, I think, 5 tornadoes so far this year.
Oh, only 5. we had a downpour of water here a couple of days ago. I was talking.
Yeah, we're trying to cut back.
Yeah, sort of. I saw something on Facebook from Rob. He just says, he had some pictures of the dark clouds over Char Arm. So I contacted him and he said, yeah, we got a little splash on the concrete, and we had a downpour there. We had actually Char Arm's water as well as Chiang Rai's water all together. It came down pretty hard. But the good thing to know is in that downpour, which would have normally flooded the streets where I lived in Nong Kem, drains away very, very quickly here. So apart from the fact that we've got dirt in the front yard, which is clay, which then gets waterlogged and everything else, the actual water runoff actually ran off very well. So that was a good thing. Anyway, so we got Tim Briney, Brindley, sorry, and Michael. G'day, how you doing? And what is it? Doing well here in Sydney. Really liked your latest video. New house looks amazing. Chanya looks so happy and really kicking goals. Yes, she's really over the moon. She is. She's a very happy girl. She's feeling the pressure of the final throws right now. But she actually went and opened the salon yesterday. So she's back into doing salon work. I think they've now zoning the COVID situation. They're not doing like Bangkok province, all these sort of things shutting down. They're sort of looking at the hot spots and sort of saying, in the hot spots, you can't do this and you can't do that. So although there's been a few cases in Phnom Penh been reported, there's been no, what they call it, overall spread or hot zones in the Phnom Penh or Phnom Penh Plu area. So, but in Soy 110, she was sort of saying the other day, there was some one of the Facebook feeds that she has sort of said that there was a couple of reported cases in Soy 110, which concerns her, of course. But we have got the COVID insurance, which will pay for any hospital expenses if they forced her to go to hospital. We're really waiting for the whole vaccine rollout, which is still. I got some articles to laugh at, which we'll go through shortly. Walter C. Charles Campbell III. I love the name. Yeah, it's like Zaphel Beeblebrox IV. It's the first thing I think about when I see that. Hello, my friend. Love your posts, and two always make me smile. Blessings and peace. Yeah, same for you. Same to you, towards you and your family there, Walter. And ZC, Zero Cool, trying to get on Discord. Give me a few. I don't know. I think I've got you listed on my Discord under 3 different accounts. You've got to remember you pay. Yeah, I've got 3 different logins for you already on the Discord there. If you want me to, I can delete those or remove them. Oh no, he's actually got on, but he's actually got a new. That's not one of the 3. So that's a new one. Go to push to talk because I can hear me itself in the background. JS Travel, g'day, how you doing?
I think I might be good now.
You might be good now, yeah. So that's your 4th account you got on here.
I got one Discord. I don't know why it just keeps logging me off.
Well, it does. You're probably. No, I don't know why it would look. This is more about the fact that if you've done a verification of your ID, have these other accounts been verified? Probably not.
I think I forget my password and I keep resetting it or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it allowed me on real quick. So.
Oh yeah, you can come onto the voice channel. Is the fact that like if I right click and actually move you up into the full roles, right? That's all right for now. But when you come back on again, you'll be basically a recruit again, unless of course you can remember your password.
Can get it figured out next time.
Yeah. So Justin, JS Trouble. So yeah, you got any plans to get back here, buddy? Yeah, it's just Discord, one of those sort of things. You got to really remember the passwords. Once you've actually got the thing, you go through that traffic light thing, or pick the traffic lights and the pictures and all out of the bullshit. For doing your, are you a robot? Once you've got all that done, you've got to remember the password. Otherwise, it'll just get you all screwed up and you're out of sync with all the other accounts. It's better to get COVID than the vaccine because your body will make defences against the virus itself. Also, the vaccines are greatly affecting people in negative. Well, I think most of the negativity there, Tim, is the is the constant barrage of misinformation that we're getting out there. Me and Oggy have just watched a series called Utopia, which I should bring that up on screen. Hold on a second, let me just. Which is it really has, it's a. Hold on a second, let me just go and fix this up. We got a visitor in here, and I've got to take the background away, otherwise you won't see it. Come on, darling, come down and say hello. Where are you going to? Come here. Come here. Oi.
สวัสดีค่ะ Hi
So we've got Luke and Oggy and Sean and Zero Cool.
Hello okay
Yeah. And so, you ready to go to work today?
today just to go buy something right for
For
the
the light.
and this one not more no more have
You have to get more.
yeah Tim tell me have for something but I change before you just to come to see me she tell me today and I have to go buy first.
Well, you can go. I have got a live stream.
Yes I know everything
Mm-hmm.
everything I design
You
but-
opened the salon yesterday?
yeah yesterday
You have customer?
yep
How many?
3
3 customers.
Yeah, just
Not only
like
for
what-
cut.
only cars.
Yeah. When can you make style?
Oh, not now. Don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm so sad.
You're so sad.
He's
Because
so
like
okay.
her business is, I've been saying this on different comments on the YouTube. Her business is 80% styles and colours and everything else, and only 20% of her business is the actual cutting part. And unfortunately, sort of, although she can open the shop, well, they open the salon, she can't do all the things she's good at, all the things you like doing, and the ones that make lots of money. But it's
Yeah.
okay.
And now I have to go.
You have to go.
Yes, buy something. Oh my God, have busy all the time.
I got some photos to show people, so we'll say that shortly, okay? So give me a kiss. No, I have lipstick.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Right? Put lipstick on. Go everywhere. People don't. Oh my God.
I don't go anywhere. I stay in here now, okay? Because they got lipstick on
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Okay. Love you, darling.
I love
Have a
you.
good day.
Hi. Say
Bye-bye.
hi, everybody.
Bye bye, everybody.
Oh.
Bye,
so
Chanya.
fresh.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we've been sort of saying is the fact that she, salon is again open, which is giving a run. Well, basically, there's been a twofold thing: is that because of all the work and all the builders coming in and going and all that sort of stuff, and I really can't talk to them, and Mother really doesn't know what plans Chanya has, so Chanya's got to be here to sort of guide them when they ask questions. But at least we're in the final stages. You'll see some pictures of that shortly. Her birthday's in, what's it? Her birthday's in, what's it, 26? So 5 days is her birthday. She'll be 37 years old. Oh my God. She's getting really old.
Time to find a new one.
Kind of, no. Trade her in for two 18-year-olds.
Don't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
I don't plan to do that, not at all. She's my heart, she's my soul, she's my everything, as they say. Robert Groves, good
Definitely
morning.
makes life easier for you there.
It does, yes. Richie
And
Kingston.
I said that before.
I think you have many times. You're one of my good commenters on the channel, which is always great to hear from you.
Enjoy the content, always.
I wish I could get more content. Unfortunately, with all the lockdown and everything else, and a foreigner wandering through Bangkok making videos, you're always under scrutiny. So better to just play safe and not. You only got to walk into a COVID-rich zone in Bangkok, inadvertently just in your wanderings, then you may have to go to a checkpoint or something like that. Then they'll give you a swab, and like the amount of false positives you can get. That next thing you know, you're going to be sort of wickled away to some sort of field hospital because you got a head cold. Well, don't forget, influenza and all those others. They are still a coronavirus, sort of thing, and can trigger false positives. So, not that I have a cold or a head cold or anything else like that. Just that it's better to stay clear of that shit and just wait for them to get it over and done with. Wayne York, Chanya is always so happy and beautiful. Does she have a cousin that is single? Well, we do have. We have got. I think Dan. Dan. I got to say it right. Dan. It's not Dan. It's not Dan. It's Dan. If you know how to. That's the DT sound. Da. Da. But she lives up in Sukhothai. She's a little bit on the overweight side. She's got tattoos all over her. She's a very sweet girl, marrying material, nah, don't know about that. She's a bit of a loose cannon, that one. She's a bit of a... anyway, enough of the cousins. I think the other cousins on father's side, they're all spoken for. One of them's got lip piercing, a bit of a sort of a tearaway as well. She's got bottom lip piercings, and she's got earrings, piercings all over her ears and lots of stuff, and I think through her nose. It really doesn't make the girls look attractive. I'm just trying to think of who else we got. No, most of the siblings are all male. There's been a sort of a lacking of females in the actual greater family sort of thing. Or maybe there is more females, but they've all been taken and wickled away and had to pay sinside. The boys had to pay sinside to steal them away or something. Who knows? I really haven't. I don't know the whole family. I think I went to one wedding about 3 or 4 years ago or 5 years ago where I also got to see the extended family. Oh my God, it's just too much for any foreigner to really sort of get a hold of. So anyway, moving right along. The COVID situation. Where are we? Let's get to here. And
Hey Warren, can you try resetting the Discord audio again? It kind of fades in and out.
does it? Well, let me just move it a bit closer. I've probably got to. Let me move the microphone a little bit closer. Is that any better? Yes or no? Yep.
So far so good.
It sounds a little better, but yeah, you're really cutting out earlier.
Is it? I'm not quite sure why it would be. I know I'm streaming my video.
It's almost like a wave. It's just kind of good audio, then it fades out, then it comes back up, and then it fades out. And
Yeah, so Oggy was getting that a bit the other day as well.
yeah, it happened last week.
I don't know whether maybe it's something to do with.
Seems to be doing well now.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah, it does sound a lot better.
Yeah, because I've moved the microphone a bit closer. Let me just check those settings again. So I've got it all full. I've got voice. Power toys. What's my volume setting there? See, looking at the peaks on here.
Sounds a little better now,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you just need to move it closer.
What I need to do is I probably need to give it a bit of gain here.
Yeah, because on YouTube it's great.
Hmm.
On
Oh
Discord,
yeah,
it's
YouTube's fine. The Discord sounds better now.
What about that? I've just given it a bit more gain on the mixer.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, okay. See how that goes. I think basically when I reset the computer a few weeks ago, all my previous settings were all lost as well. I really haven't fine-tuned everything because we've just been playing games. So anyway, moving right along, the technical side. Okay, so how's the house going? People might, don't worry, guys, on the YouTube, like I said, that runs through a different mixer on the Streamlabs program. So there's a mixer on the Streamlabs. What we got is the other mixer is the mixer that goes and feeds back through the Discord channel. So it's just two different sorts. Maybe one of these days I'll actually buy myself a proper mixing desk. I know Stephen Clark has got it. He's gone full studio and got a mixing desk, but I still need a bigger desk to do all that sort of shit. So the desk has got to come first. Anyway, so where are we with the house build? I think where are the photos we had last week? I think we got up to here. They were laying some pipe under the first layer of concrete there. And I was talking about the chandelier and her ideas of putting a chandelier in here, and the fact that nobody will ever see it because, you know, when guests come in, the gates, the doors will be closed, so you won't actually see the chandelier. I'm still having issues, you know. Anyway, it's her house. Anyway, so they put the pillars in. We had the unit come in. There's more pipe being laid. Started putting the walls up. That was Saturday. More walls. Putting the what they call the aerated Besser blocks in. Getting the foundations and everything else ready. So then we went off to the hardware store. We were looking at different tiles. The ones that she was looking at. Oh, that's what we're looking at, the TV as well, yeah. Chandeliers. Besser block. Don't know what that that is. Yeah, and so the TV arrived Saturday. No, the TV arrived on Sunday. That's the LG UHD TV. So you can check that one. The 70UN73 is the model. If you want to check it out, it's actually quite a good TV. I'm quite happy with the quality of it. The input, so it's got inputs. It's got Wi-Fi. It's got LAN, optical, HDMI. I've still got to get an antenna to actually put the aerial on. I'll probably do that tomorrow or the next day. Checking it out. So I actually checked out what my videos looked like on the 70-inch, because don't forget these, I broadcast or do the video uploads in 1080p with my camera, and I was actually quite impressed with the what they call the anti-aliasing and interpolation when it upsizes to 4K. It actually looks quite clear on that TV.
Warren,
Yep.
Warren, do you have to pay to put? I can't remember if you said, do you have to pay to put the grass, the turf in, or does that come with the property? And they just
No, the turf will be something we put in.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you said that. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. So well, we'll get to that shortly. So TV went in. Unfortunately, most TV in Thailand is broadcast at 720p, and it does the anti-aliasing for the blending makes things look a bit as if it's got a soft filter on it when you're looking at 720p on a 4K TV. But I think that's normal. I think people just got to live with that. But when it comes to 4K video, that's I think that's an excerpt on YouTube in 4K. That was at the what was that movie, Gemini Man. It really comes through very, very nice and clear. I was very impressed with it. And of course, Monday morning we had the Miss Universe contest. She was up at 7 o'clock in the morning watching Miss Universe. Tim, yeah, you have Home Pro, we have Home Depot. I wonder if that they have some sort of internal connection between the two of them. Any plans for a barbecue? In the front yard, Wayne. It's in the front yard. I don't have a backyard, so we'll get back to that in a minute. So there's Chanya. She's been looking at what we're going to do for the little temple thing. It's just then putting the door frames in. This is more tiles we were looking at. What are we choosing for the bench tops and the floors and the walls. So this one here is what we're doing for the floor. I know that wasn't the one for the top. I think that's the one for the bench top. So it's similar to style for the bench top to the floor. Now these are only a tile with a granite looking finish. We're not actually doing granite. We're being cheap, you know. it's bloody expensive putting granite tops in. Global FM, g'day, how you doing? This is the wall tile we've put in for the back wall. You'll see that. Where are we? Back wall, yeah, okay. We got our cat back on Monday afternoon. I think it's Monday afternoon? Yes, Monday afternoon. Because that was when I did the video, yeah. So we got our cat back. She's still got her anti-lick singlet on. She was quite happy to be home, it looked like. And this is again to do with the little temple you put into the foyer of the house. Different styles. I actually quite like this one here, but I don't like the overall, headlight on it. But again, she'll make the choice. Okay, so the back walls are up. They've cut out the space for the windows. More looking at that. Don't forget, this is a combination of my photos and her photos and what she saves on Facebook, when she's cruising around. She's always taking screenshots and saving things. Make sure your kitchen floor tiles are non-slip. This is a big discussion, Robert, I've been having with her. And the thing we were talking about is about, the rest of all the tiles in the house are a gloss finish. And I'm sort of saying you need to think about mother in the kitchen space. If you've got gloss, there is a risk of her, slipping if there's water on the floor. And she understands. She's talked it over with mother, and it's Thai thing. It was more about what it looks like than the non-slip, and so we got gloss finished tiles, which does have a risk of thing. But mother's always cleaning, so and she's always barefooted, so the chance of slippage is minimum. And of course, it's fairly narrow as well. I don't think we get any real problems with slippage. But yeah, it was a concern that I had. Anyway, this is to put in the front walls up and put in the door frames in. There's our cat again. So this is looking from the neighbour's house before the roof goes on. A bit more photos from there. Place is an absolute mess. Yeah, it's up to me. Yeah, up to her. It's yeah. So there's the cat. She loves Daddy. And there we go. So Chanya just going crazy with her shaved tummy. How undignified for a cat. Yep, and it's always difficult eating food with a cat in your lap. That's the last thing you want to hear. What's that? Thomas. Yeah, exactly. You get used to it after a while. Anyway, so then of course on Wednesday, Wednesday we went out and she had to do her pramut, which is the, she's been doing all the temple visits over the, she had to do her, validation or whatever they call it. It's a special Thai tradition or Buddhist tradition where they give to the temple. So, as I said to one comment, I was asking about the pig head in the video, and somebody come back to me and says, in the Buddhist tradition, it's good luck to offer a pig's head to the temple. I sort of said, it's not so much good luck for the pig, is it? Poor pig. And I kind of try to think of, would you ever see this in a Christian church or even an Islam sort of get the idea? Like, it seems to be quite commonplace to put the pig's head on the temple. Oh my God. Anyway. Yeah, so we're out there. She did her offering, did her blessings. Lots of photos. The pig looks happy. Robert goes back soon. Have to go put sprinklers on. So hot and dry there. Yeah, well. Thailand delish. For floor tiles, do you want to check the coefficient of friction specifications? That tells you the difference between wet and dry tile surface. The greater the difference, the more slip the tile. With the way I said, mother's already washing the floors every day, as those Thais do, and just feeling underfoot how slippery the tiles in the house are. I don't sort of see it being a big issue, but yeah, time will tell. Oh, and I didn't want to do that. Where were we? We were up to that one there. I wanted to go forward there. Yeah, so we were there fairly early, and then of course, just in the hour there, we were doing the blessings and everything else. We had 3 other people visit to obviously do their similar offerings. There's, now we got 4 pigs' heads on the temple table there, and then of course we went to a second temple. More offerings there. This is our local temple as well. This is the one here at Wazza King. And I have no idea what that photo is. Oh, that's right. Then the fireworks. I think we got at the end of that video. There was the fireworks. Yeah. Yeah, it's the fireworks. They put it in a little kiln to put the fireworks off. The pig died with a smile on his face. I think we just said that, didn't we? Yeah, and that's her lucky number, 38,495. More of these little temple things. I'd go for something more like this one here without the overhead light. I think the overhead light sort of really just doesn't lend itself very well. Anyway, so they've now 4 more photos. We've got, as you can see there, we've got some tiles in the back there. There's no lights yet, and that's what she's doing today. She's got to go and get the light fittings. So the walls are rendered. That's just for a couple of days ago. Putting up the ceiling there. So it's a colour-bond roof with a 10mm thick insulator, and then it's got the isolation all built into the roof tile. So it should keep the heat down. I'm hoping, at least anyway. Gives a bit of an air space there as well. I think it's going to need an air extractor in there, otherwise it's just going to build up heat inside. But we'll have to look at that down the track. More shots. Yeah, she was out at the salon the other. This is from yesterday, I think. She opened the salon this morning. Okay, so they've got the ceiling finished this morning. That's the back.
Warren, have you noticed how the window tint have you noticed anything with the power bill, or is it actually keeping the house cool, or what?
I haven't even checked to see if the power bills arrive. It should be in the box out there. Nobody's handed it to me, so I have to go and sort it out. I normally pay the bill in the last week of the month, and this is the last week of the month. It's probably
have you
arrived.
noticed in the house?
Oh no!
In the heat?
Oh yeah. Well, so the house is definitely cooler. There's no doubt about it. So, and the only air conditioners is my little 9,000 BTU air conditioners that runs during the day, and of course the 12,000 BTU runs at night. We only sort of turn the one on downstairs probably when we're eating food.
That's what we do around here. I just run the air at night and a little bit here and there to keep the bill down.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be less because of the fact that we used to run the 18,000 BTU all the time in the bedroom. So hopefully we're going to halve that bill. We've only got half the amount of sewing machines running as well, so the bills should technically go down quite a bit. So we'll have to see how it goes. But as the time will tell. Once things settled out, we'll see how we go. I'd be happy to see the bill under 4,000 baht a month. Then I'd be happy to know that it was money well spent. But yeah, that's the back wall. Again, looking out the front there, they've got the ceiling. It looks like they've finished it off there. Got the power in there. The sockets on the walls. Another shot through there. Not quite sure when they start to do the floor, but I think that's what Chanya was saying. The fact that they've measured up and realised they're one pack of floor tiles short, or something, from what I understand. They didn't measure properly. This is what happens. So she's going to have to run off and get some more tiles, or at least another pack of tiles. Mother's not at all concerned about her bedroom facing into the kitchen, but this is just one of the things you have to deal with. Looking at the front there, I think that's where it is. So this tile, they've put more tiles at the back than what we anticipated. So they run out of these tiles here at the front. There's one pack of tiles missing for that one there. Have you thought about any solar? Oh, look, I have been thinking. It's been in the back of my mind whether we should put it in or not. I've got to do some. I've got to see how the power bill is, and then do work out the overall cost of the solar. Putting at least 2 to 3 kilowatts on the roof. Because we get a lot of sun, so it would make sense to put solar. But yeah, going to how much spacing have we got for the sun side and all that sort of stuff. Whether it would be an efficient use of the But yes, the junk in the house. Oh my God, there's the sink and everything else. So I think that's the last of the photos. Yes, I don't think she's taken any more since then, has she? No, that's it. That was just me taking some photos this morning. Yo Warren, big ups. G'day DC. Hello from Erie, PA, USA. What's PA? Pasadena? What's PA? Go on, you Americans. What's PA?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Okay.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Okay. Bill from Pennsylvania. G'day. How you doing? I'll find some glasses for you for the next time. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, the story I wanted to cover, been over, gotta love Thailand live stream. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so the story I wanted to highlight today is like this one here. I think it's moved off my page, is it? Okay, let's go to my Twitter feed. Yeah, so this is now, this is from about an hour ago. They're telling that this is coming out of the government offices. This is this is the rules that are being applied as of 24 hours ago, right? They've got an in English information from the nation Thailand. It's been administered. The Foreign Affairs telling us the fact that we will be from June 7th onwards. We will be allowed to register for vaccinations. Right, so it's been all officially guaranteed. And here's Richard Barrow from 3 hours ago, right? From different sources coming back to him, telling him all sorts of different things here. And here's an example. The governments are saying, according to the announcement from the government, I need to inform you that we need to cancel all expats. So although the governments are saying foreigners are included, the hospitals are turning around and saying, I'm sorry, we don't have enough to do the foreigners. So it's nobody has got a clue what the hell's going on here with the vaccination program for foreigners. Governments are saying yes, and then the hospital's saying, but we don't have vaccines for you. Yeah, this is what you've got to deal with here in Thailand, It's the on again, off again nature of the way everything goes. You both are g'day, how you doing? DC, great great video. That TV is huge. The home is looking great. Yeah, it's coming along. It's coming along all right, DC. Thanks. Yeah, so we got this, on again, off again nature of the whole, vaccine program. I'm not worried, phased either way, but as I said, my biggest concern about this is I want to get back and start doing more of the new series, which is the Bangkok Insider, and doing runs into Bangkok, looking at different areas in Bangkok, not just the girly bars and lots of stuff, but more about the new klongs, the new river boats, or the new what they call the new long tail taxis and things going up to different klongs. I've seen my friends like Jerry and Vance have been doing all this stuff in Bangkok, and I'd have loved to have gone with them and made videos in a group of these things that they've discovered, but as I said, it just the whole idea of that effectively that almost 2 hours for me to get into Bangkok now, depending on traffic and depending on availability of taxis and how long the grab taxi takes to get there to there, and where we're going to meet up and all the organisation, because most of the time that they do that shit, it's like a spur of the moment thing. Let's go do this now, because they're in Sukhumvit, and it's just grab a taxi and go there, I can't easily just grab a taxi, or if I do, it's like a 400 baht run in, right, and meet you there in an hour and a half, sort of situation, which sort of puts a bit of a damper on any spur of the moment sort of travelling around. But I'd love to go and do a whole bunch of this new sort of sightseeing, looking at what's happened to Bangkok, giving people a bit more insight into Bangkok lifestyle, Bangkok everything, which is where the where I was going to, I think. Yes, where I was going, that was just Luke disappearing. That was where I was going to with the Bangkok Insider. It was an experiment. People sort of liked the idea. There is a playlist of the stuff I did so far down in the channel if you like. It's not the fact that they weren't published, they were put as unlisted so I could get an insider feel of how people thought about the series. I've got some more ideas on that and I want to do some more experimentation with it. But the problem is, it's just the distance and the fact is you're an outsider, and just the risk of where you are, whether you get swabbed or not, and the current outbreaks in all the hot zones. I'd rather just avoid it all together completely. So until probably sort of October, November, when we start to see a majority of people being vaccinated and those daily numbers get to single or even double digits across Thailand, I think things for me, I'm just staying clear of Bangkok Central altogether. I think numbers wise we had, where's the numbers? Trying to find the numbers. MBT usually sort of post a list wherever it is. Just got to just find it. Scrolling through.
Hey Warren, I'm gonna go ahead and take off. I gotta work in the morning.
You gotta work it. You gotta work in the morning. That's all right.
Yeah, just a few hours in the morning. It ain't nothing too big. So I'm gonna grab a shower, and it's 10 o'clock at night here. So I just want to drop in for a few minutes, say hey.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
Congratulations again on the house. Yeah. Hey, we need some riding videos. I love
right. Like I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's is it still the wet season over there? I can't.
Well, it's only just gone into the wet season. It's really more the point is the fact that a ride at the moment is very hot. Putting a jacket on, with sleeves so you don't get burnt.
Oh, I know it's a hassle. I know it's a hassle, but one every now and then satisfies us peons. So.
Yeah. So I've got some ideas. I want to do some more cruise around because, although we don't have the hilly country for doing, that sort of ride, but we don't have straight roads here in the back country. There's twists and turns, which makes it a bit more interesting. But anyway, quickly, here's the numbers from 21st of May. This was the numbers posted yesterday, which would have been from the 20th. So Nakhon Pathom is 16. So where we are in this province, we've got fairly low numbers compared to Bangkok. Northumbria and Pratam Thani have got sort of rising numbers. Some are PopeKael, but we seem to have missed it. Saraburis, some at Sakon, some at Songkran, some at Paklan. So some at Sakon, that's where it broke out in the fish market. They've got fairly low numbers as well now. Basically, this outbreak started in Bangkok, and it's moved east, east and north. It hasn't really sort of come west, which is pretty good. But yeah, so we're fairly safe here. So the only thing I can do is a bit more exploration around the area, which is something I do want to do. As I said, we did the drive around yesterday, showing a bit of the neighbourhood. I just got to think about sort of a story to tell, and getting out there with the camera and setting up with the camera and sort of giving you a bit of a ride around, and what do we talk about, sort of thing, you know. Just the ride itself is a bit on the boring side for most people. They're going to have a bit of a story to talk about. And when I think about a story or a storyline to work on, I'll do some more of that sort of stuff. But yeah, so numbers wise, yeah, that was 21st of May. I don't think we got any numbers for yesterday. I think that was at the top here, wasn't it? Oh yeah, Thailand considers releasing 50,000 inmates following prison virus cluster. This is 14 hours ago. Where are they going to release them to? Right, that's the question, Rob. If they can release 50,000 inmates, what were they in for? Well, from what I understand, these were minor drug charges, a drug possession charge of cannabis and things like that. You know, you get locked up for the smallest of infringements. The prisons are completely overcrowded at the moment, but this starts to validate the fact that they have a propensity to throw you in prison and throw away the keys. But yeah, so Thailand considered releasing them, but as I said, it's been a hotbed of viral activity in the prison system. If they release them, they're going to put them into quarantine before they put them into the public. So yeah, put them in a quarantine. Who pays for the quarantine, right? The taxpayer. Yeah, so they have some really crazy ideas. They really do. 17 hours ago. What's Richard got on his page? Oh, here we go. He's got some Saturday morning. What have we got? Today, 3,605 from prisons. The numbers are a bit on the upside. Don't think we got anything more on that one there. Thai news reports. Okay. All foreigners in Thailand will be able to register. So they're quite on this from June 7. And yes, you register, but you know, that's only to keep you quiet. And the hospitals haven't got any vaccines, and hospitals aren't going to issue vaccines or give you vaccines because the hospitals have been told they can't charge you for it. There's been a mandate from the government that says hospitals cannot charge for anything to be virus related because the current emergency decree has got it built into it a clause to the fact that they can't charge anything for it. Right, even if you're a foreigner, I believe, from what I understand. It's, yeah, bizarre stuff. The best thing to do is just bury your head in the sand and forget about it. Andy Stubbs, good morning. How you doing? And Mr. Mitch have joined us as well. How you doing? So, is it California banned the Moderna vaccine because of some deaths? Oh, like, it's ridiculous, people banning. They need to get the vaccine out to people. Yeah, people are going to die no matter what. More people are going to die from the actual virus than from the vaccine. And the people who are dying from the vaccine are probably going to die from the virus anyway. It's because of their ill health situation. But yeah, I was going to talk about this IMDb. Let me see if I can bring it up. Utopia. Yeah, so this TV series, Utopia. After a group of people who met online discover a bizarre graphic novel which seems to hold mysterious answers, they find themselves being tracked down by a merciless organisation known as a network. The story, that's a bit of a sort of a loose storyline. But Augie put me onto this, and I've just finished the series. So what it was is the fact that it's a series about a group of people design this what they call protein molecule that, when combined with another agent, will sterilize the entire population of the world, right? And what they're trying to do is not only they're trying to get a hold of the formula. They've simulated the formula from the original scientist's work, who went crazy and wrote this graphic novel and put all the clues about what was going into the novel. But it really comes down to this big question. They really sort of the main crux of the story was, we've got 7.5 billion people on this planet, and within the next 100 years, right, there won't be food or anything else enough to feed the people. So you're going to have mass wars, mass starvation, mass poverty class, everything else. And the humane idea was to sterilise 95% of the population, to bring the population back to the perceived 0.5 to 1 billion people that the planet can comfortably sustain, going forward. And this whole subplot, the series is currently running on Amazon Prime, alongside a remake of the series which has been done by Amazon Prime. I downloaded the Amazon Prime version, started watching it, and said, what a snowflake version of this. I couldn't watch it. It was such a snowflake idea. It just didn't make any. It just really, it's to hit the heartstrings of all the teenagers or something. I'm pretty sure, because it really did not float my boat at all. Got a copy of this version, the 2013 version. Oh my god! This is serious shit. So if you can get a hold of Amazon Prime, make sure you watch the Utopia version from 2013. Before you watch the 2020 version from Amazon Prime. It is serious, and I loved it. Augie, what did you think? Oh, he can't hear me there. I don't know. He's got his headphones off as well. But get on there and tell us what you thought about Utopia. I definitely highly recommend you watch this. It's a complete mindfuck. But yeah, it goes along with all the conspiracy theories that we've experienced for the last 8 years about releasing a virus that will force the population to take the antivirus program. And the antivirus program has actually got the protein built into it that causes the sterilization, and it's been genetically engineered to not affect a certain racial subgroup. Crazy stuff. So yeah, it really feeds into that whole anti-vax sort of mentality. But the interesting thing is, this was done in 2013, pretty much around the time of the H1N1 scare. Around that time there, or was it SARS? I can't remember. But Augie, what did you think about it?
Been yakking all over the place. I had my mute button on.
Of course you did.
I
Okay.
thought it was great, and it was SARS. They were talking about how SARS was completely made up.
Yeah, SARS was made up, yeah, but we know SARS was actually a virus. But yeah, they work on that premise that SARS was the made-up virus. They mentioned there was a mention of H1N1, wasn't there?
Yes, there was. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I haven't finished watching it yet.
Oh yeah, I finished the series last night and started watching Humans.
Second season?
No, I watched I watched the full second season. The first episode on the second season seems to throw you a bit of a curveball, but it actually takes a snapshot of when he designed the virus and when he actually got to meet Mr. Robot. Not Mr. Rabbit, not Mr. Robot.
Okay, I was going to say Mr. Robot's a different show.
Yeah, Mr. Rabbit. I'm not going to say who Mr. Rabbit is because I now know who Mr. Rabbit is. And I finished the series last night. I went on to start watching Humans last night, so I saw the first episode of Humans last night, which
What do you think?
well, it's got my interest. Yes,
Yes.
I'm very much into AI and what they call the singularity. It's one of the things that's always in the back of my mind. But yes, but
I
yeah,
better push the thumbs up button just for you.
push the thumb. Yeah, but if you get a chance to watch this series, make sure it's the 2013 version, not the snowflake version, because oh god, the snow. I don't know why they make so much TV for snowflakes these days. I guess there's just too many snowflakes, and they want the rate. They want the numbers.
They don't want to offend anyone.
So that got an 8.4
God
rating.
forbid that
Yeah,
you
so-
offend somebody in the U.S. right now because they can't take it.
Yeah, so that got an 8.4, and the current version got a 6.7.
Yes, it does help that she's such a cutie, Xnelio.
Yeah, that's the new version. Yeah, it's
The
there's a
human.
yeah.
He was saying how The Humans is a great show and it helps that she's so cute. And yes, she is. She's gorgeous.
HUMA and humans. Yes, this is the one we're talking about. Humans. Human. ANS. Humans. There it is. 2015. What is a new series for 2021? What are they remake? They've snowflaked that one as well. So
They're probably doing a U.S. version now.
yeah.
That's just made by the British because otherwise they get in trouble with SAG.
As they do, yeah.
You'll almost
In
get
a
upset.
parallel present with the latest must-have gadget. Yeah. So what's the word page here? So there's a 2021 version. Here it is. 7.5 TV series. Looks like it's made in country and language Mandarin. Okay, so looks like it's been remade by China. There you go. They've done the Amazon Prime thing with a pretty good series, and they're going to butcher it too. But this is what we do. We watch TV all the time. There's not much else to do these days, is there?
Watch TV, play games.
Watch TV,
And
play
I work
games.
for at least 3 hours a day.
Oh, you? Yeah. No, he does actually work more than that. I can guarantee that. Oh, Bitcoin's done a dive again, has it? What are we down to? 36.9. Is that current? Yeah.
Crashed to 30 yesterday.
1,000.
Oh, it crashed. It went below 30 on 2 days ago.
And the U.S. president is now announcing that they're going to force the cryptocurrencies to make it report any transaction over 10,000 U.S. dollars.
Hmm. Yeah, well, they said they want you to pay tax on. It's just they want to tax it just like they do with the stock exchange and everything else.
Well, it's part of it's to prevent money laundering and all that kind of stuff is what they're looking for. Those large transaction changes.
It's not going to
That's all
stop.
their grubby hands.
It's not going to stop anything. Yeah. So what did it do? So according to that, was they go 24 hours. So yeah, what do we? It went again. It went below. Went below 34. It was like 34. So it's back up a bit, but
Roger. I've been buying Cardano and Ethereum. Isn't that from that virus show we watched?
yeah. And one of my friends here in Thailand who is into the system, he's lost over 7 figures in his portfolio in the last week. Yeah, so it hurts. Anyway, so catching up on the thing to cover. I'm waiting for Motivax to come out. Roger Ritchie, g'day. Michael, how you doing? Hi Ron. What would your second choice countries for Thai if something were to happen? I've never really given it much thought, Michael, because it would depend on where Chanya would feel comfortable. Whatever we did, I think it comes down to being with Chanya, of course, and this is where it's all going to play into that sort of what if situation. Very hard to really gauge that sort of situation. I don't like to think about it because I think putting thought process into it can sometimes it's like that. Being a chaos magician, just even the thought process, can create the butterfly effect of changing the reality tunnel, and it's a long, convoluted process. I'm not going to talk about it. So I like to think of good things.
You mean it's like the Aborigine belief that they sing things into existence?
There's the dream times and all that sort of stuff. As I said, we judge our whole existence on 4.5% of the light spectrum. That's our whole existence is based on 4.5% of the light spectrum. We have no idea what's really floating outside in those peripherals and in the different frequencies of light. We've got neutrinos pass through our body every second of the day. What is really reality? Just the thought process behind that sort of stuff. I like to sort of, I think I'm retired now. I just want to just enjoy the rest of my life. And apart from the Thai government, just hey,
I'd probably go Vietnam or Malaysia if I wasn't in Thailand.
Well, again, going to Vietnam, from what I've heard from my friends over there, it's not really a good place to be. Cambodia, again, not a good place. Laos has got some options, but again, it's even Laos is communist. Korea's too
Singapore,
cold.
but I don't know if I could afford to stay there.
Yeah, Singapore's expensive.
Philippines.
Philippines again, with Duterte and what his name, with that arsehole running the country, not really too interested in being there. Yes. No, you go back to YouTube. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I'm feeding everything back. I don't know. But yeah, so it's a question that when things look rocky on that situation, I'll start investigating it. But what I hear, Panama looks pretty good, apart from the corruption. Yeah, Roger Ritchie comedy. There was this current expose going on about the engineering of it. Well, actually, I think SARS and MERS was more. So MERS had a sort of a 3.5 R naught value, so MERS was actually more contagious, but it was a contact only virus. So it didn't spread like, basically they're realizing now that the microparticles or misting from a normal breath can carry up to sort of 4 to 6 hours. So it is an airborne contagion. They're sort of saying now this is what they're finding it hard to prove it, but there's now sort of proof coming through that it is airborne, or the variations that are now coming through are now airborne. Which makes the thing a lot more, the R naught has lifted up from what it really originally was. The new big thing now is UFOs. UFOs? Well, that's right, there's some stuff been released about that, hasn't there? That UFOs are real, coming out of the US, and they've declassified a whole lot of redacted papers, which I don't know how anybody could read, but yeah. Roger, you've been buying Cardano and Ethereum. Well, they also did a big dive as well. Let's log into Coinbase, see if that's... La 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 la. Fill in. Although I have an account, I haven't bought anything. Oh, every time. Oh, seriously? I said verify. Click on that. Yeah, I got a dynamic IP address. Fuck off. Right, anyway, prices. What do we got?
Might not want to share it on the screen.
Well, it's only just my account, so I haven't bought anything. I can show what the numbers are. Anybody can log in and make an account. Highest volume, one, yeah.
Oh, maybe they'll log in and buy some for you.
Yeah, log in and, yeah, so there you go. Log in and buy me some Bitcoin.
The new way to donate to Mr. Warren. Log in.
Give me my public key, yeah. Look, I don't have anything in coin. I've got a few BAT, which is part of it. There's something called BAT. I've got a few cents in BAT. But anyway, so what have we got? Ethereum, so 17% down. Ethereum 2, 17% down. What did you say was looking at? It's the Cardano, Dogecoin, DOGE, 50% down.
I bailed on all of them last week.
Cardano, there it is. Cardano is 50% down. So Bitcoin's actually not down as much as the others, but yeah. Again,
I think that move from the U.S. is going to chase a lot of people out.
well, what you got to look at here is you got to really look at these things. Everybody looks at the now, and they don't do this thing here. What's the year, right? What's the all, right? The year. So there's the all out at, was it 2017? That's when the big hype, that's when everything went up. Then it stabilised. Right, then it's been gradually climbing. So this is this year's been climbing with Bitcoin because Bitcoin, right? But these graphs against this normal sort of what they call uptake graph, they're accelerated. They're all overinflated. Because right now, as I said, I keep on using the term Ponzi scheme. The only value you've got in any of these coins, in my opinion, right, is the goodwill amongst the people who buy the coin. Right, I still to this day cannot buy Cardano and then go and buy coffee with it. So what's the point of any currency has to have a value of barter, right? Now it's okay to barter other coins against other coins on the hope that one of these will actually ever take off and be a freely tradable currency where you can go and buy your coffee, right? Until that day happens on a independent, totally uniform level, right? All this stuff is going to go nowhere, apart from speculation, and the more people buying into it to validate the fact that it has value. But if you look at the bottom line of all Ponzi schemes, they require more people to come in to make the original players richer. That's just a Ponzi scheme, right? And eventually the governments of the world will put a filter on. They'll enforce filters on the back channel validation processes. Like you can track this. You put a checkpoint firewall into your organisation. You can actually stop all your staff going to every trade system, right? So they've only got to introduce that at a global level or at a breakout level, putting it through something like an upscaled checkpoint firewall, and they could basically shut down all this trading. whether they do it or not is another matter. But people are putting too much faith in the internet for this type of validation of value of a currency that you can't buy coffee with, right? And I do perceive there will be a day in a not too distant future where, like, we've got the Great Firewall of Thailand right here, which we don't really talk about much. There's the Great Firewall of China, right? All I got to do is put in something like an upscale checkpoint system, and you could basically shut down all Bitcoin trading. Not Bitcoin, I mean all coin trading. They'll just put it through there. It'll dive back into what they call the dark net, which is where it started, and then it'll be only available to the remaining few who know how to leverage the dark net. Right, but right now, right, it's a public forum, speculative, and it goes nowhere. Right, until you can buy a coffee on the street, or I can go out to the corner shop here, where this little girl on the corner here has a little her three-wheel motorcycle cart doing somtam, or grapalmu, or whatever she cooks out there on a daily basis, for 20 baht for a plate. Until I can go to her and to say, here you are, here's your 20 baht worth of trade value, right, to buy my somtam, then it has no chance of surviving here in Thailand. And again, Thailand could easily shut it down with a firewall, right? And Thailand is talking about the fact that all trading now must be done in person, and that's going to pretty much shut down Thailand's foray into the whole Bitcoin trading, coin trading system. But the governments don't want to lose control. That's what it comes down to, right? The whole play on these viruses, these vaccines, everything else, is exercising a heavy-handed control of people. Don't get me started. It's just one of those sort of things. Anyway, Cardino. Yeah. I just feel comfortable in the fact that I'm not losing money, because I'm the sort of person that would always end up buying when it was high and losing money when it was low. It's been one of those sort of things. My index funds, right, they're running good, right, but at the moment they've taken a hit. But the thing is, they tend to take a hit every 10 years. The hit they took last year is recovered from. It's now growing again. But it's taken 12 months for that to be a positive situation. But again, over that 10-year life cycle, I can sort of still see that there is a definite 12 to 15% growth across the different markets I've got. So I'm not crying poor, but I'm also crying the fact that God, I lost a bit of money last year. It's just one of those sort of things. But you've got to take the wins with the losses. That's what you've got to do. Yes, I've been giving a bit of a plug with the membership and the Patreon recently. On every few videos I mention it, but it's not to do with the money situation. It's to do with the fact that that's what you do. This is YouTube, guys. This is what it's all about. Mention these sort of things, and you do. People feel that I do a good program, so it's a way that they can give back. As I said to one guy on the in a comment, if 500 people subscribe to $2 a month, right, that's $1,000 a month, which could completely change the paradigm and sort of offset all the losses I made last year, or all the losses I had last year. It'd be nice to think of life that way. Is it worth $2 a month? To be a subscriber. It's up to you. I'm not enforcing it. I'm not sort of saying you have to. But if you think the program's worth $2, if the entertainment value of our channel is worth a cup of coffee, then buy me a cup of coffee. People don't sort of think of it that way. I think of it that way. If it's I go out and buy coffee for the family and friends and the people who dry out. It's not the fact that it goes in my pocket. What comes in my pocket and is quickly distributed amongst the people I know. It just offsets my out-of-pocket expenses. Discord was worth. Well, I pay for the Nitro I run on Discord. That's I think $95 or $99 a year on the Discord. But again, I don't expect anybody to pay for that. I boost the Discord channel so I get more performance out of it. You're quite welcome. If you don't want the money to go to me, you go and get Discord Nitro and put your 2 points of Nitro boost into my Discord channel to increase its performance, because this is what's happening now is Discord is getting more and more people joining, and the more people who Nitro boost will up my Discord level, so I get more boost than the next guy. But yeah, that's again, I'm not enforcing these sort of things, and I think it comes down to people just doing it because of the fact that they enjoy the entertainment of our life together. Hopefully, with the next few months, we'll actually have some new stuff to talk about, which will again have a different entertainment value. If we can only get our inside Bangkok Insider stuff running, and getting free travel and wandering around the place again. That's something I'm looking forward to anyway. Yes, Tim, silver's a good investment. Gold's a good investment. I know a friend of mine in the Philippines. He's bought into gold. He keeps on sort of hyping on the validity of gold stocks. But again, it's index funds are based on industry and commerce, right? Where you might have a basket of 50 companies in an index fund, right? All those 50 companies, all they want to do is produce returns for their investors, right? But it's just not one company that has a stock, it's a group of companies all working to the same goal. So they tend to even out the ups and downs to a fairly high degree. And so that's what an index fund is for. That's why they perform so well. That's why Warren Buffett is always recommending index funds, because they are, out of all the trading systems out there, they're a safe bet, and they're based on company performance of a company wanting to do better for the people that work in the company and for their stockholders, right? So there is a tangible, what they call commodity behind it, unlike Bitcoin, which has no tangible real estate body, corporate mentality. It's just speculative trading on a numbers game. It's like a betting system. I'm really, although I have a great interest in it, until something comes in to stabilise the playing field, that's really one of those sort of things that it always worries me. Anyway, so I think I haven't got it here. Let me sort of just pick this one off. This is the one that, again, I'll use this as an example. This is something that Psycho put up the other day. These scam coins are getting crazy. Someone just shilled me 27 trillion in circulation, unlimited supply, only one node, 25% of the supply minted in the last 6 months, 1% of holders own 30%. Just kidding. That's the US dollar. And this is always the comeback from all the people, in the Bitcoin arena. Well, there's no real validity behind the US dollar either. It's a fiat currency as well. It's not gold backed, but it is backed on the goodwill of the fact that you can take that $1 anywhere in the world and hand it over, and it has value to the person who receives it. It has a barter value, and you can buy a coffee with it. Well, you might not be able to buy a coffee out here because they don't use American dollars, but American dollar is freely tradable with the currency of your country, right? So it has value at that level. You can trade an American dollar for Thai baht. For $1 American dollar is 30 Thai baht. So $1 American dollar, right, effectively can go and buy my somtam at a 30 baht level. It still has validity. It's a trading barter system of credit that is acceptable. Until that happens with these coins, right, they will never be taken seriously as an alternative to currency. They are totally investment based, and that's my take on it. And I'm really not going to go much until I can see some stability coming into it. And David's on my case all the time. He says, well, if you don't want to do those ones, go for the stable coins, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff. And he's made a killing, right, in this genre of trading systems. Right, it's allowed him to retire early, right, move to Thailand and do all that sort of stuff. But as I said, just the whole idea of, losing a fifth of your total net worth, right, in the space of a week. God, yeah. Okay, so I lost a quarter of my net worth over the last year through COVID. He's lost a fifth of his net worth just by a country and Elon Musk saying something. Well, yeah, what are you supposed to do about that? There was a tangible reason why a quarter of my net worth was, but of course that was global. Everybody lost a quarter of their net worth. It was a bubble anyway. It's, one of those sort of things. But yeah, just for sort of Elon Musk saying something to upset the apple cart, and then Dogecoin, I think he sort of said Dogecoin was one of the things that he's just given a thumbs up to again, and just suddenly lifted, it's just because he said it, lifted the price 15%. It shouldn't happen that way. That is just ridiculous. That's a few people controlling the outcome. And just well, anyway, I'm rambling again. I think what we need to do is we need to go and look at some pretty girls. Where are you? Where was it? Where's my list?
Yes,
Here we
go.
Yes, Patty Go. Let's go and look at some pretty girls. That's the Patty Go bar. There we go. There's the list. Let's have a look at their photos today. Oh, we got here. We got a pin-up go girl. What's her name? Charming. Next photo. Yes, I think she likes to play pool. What are we missing on there, Andy? There's a reactor to Lucas Heights. There's reactor at Lucas Heights. Is that reactor still running? I thought that reactor was shut down. Robert, Nanny. Fi as in she's hot. Fi is a word for fire. Do you think 507 is a lucky number? Janny? I'd love to know where they get these photos from. I'm pretty sure they're other people's pages. Prim. She hasn't got contacts in. One of the things I like about Thai girls is their black coloured eyes. It's just, I always find that alluring. I'm pretty sure they're not real.
I would agree with that. But they still look good.
Yeah, they look good, don't they? Yes.
They'd be fun to play with.
Exactly.
I wonder if I could hire one of these to be my nursemaid in my elder years.
I'm sure that they'd come and gladly clean your house for the right price. There we go. I like this one because of all her tattoos. I do like a tattooed girl. I think Chanya needs more tattoos, but that's just the game.
Yeah, that's. I could read her for hours.
Andy Stubbs, Australia needs an artificial island to build a reactor on it because no one wants them. Haven't we got some artificial islands? I thought it was called the North Island and South Island. Can't we build them over there? New Zealand, in other words. That's far enough away. I always like the comment from Robert Anton Wilson. Right? The ultimate creator put the nuclear furnace 92 million miles away. That's a safe distance to have a nuclear reactor.
Yeah, that's a good fail-safe distance.
Yeah, it's a good
Except
fail.
for when it finally goes nova, it's still not going to make any difference.
Well, I said it doesn't have to go nova before it makes a difference. It's only got to move from a G2 to a final stage star, right, which will expand its circumference out past Earth and even as far as Mars before it even goes supernova. So,
how about when that on For All Mankind when they had that one big solar flare? That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how the third season goes with that one. Are they going to do a third season? Because I think that they spooked the idea of the third season will be the Mars base. Didn't they?
For All Mankind season 3 officially happening. What are they talking about? They haven't given a premiere date yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fukushima, I think, I said the safe distance for a nuclear reactor. Mind you, I've been watching the developments of what they call the thorium molten, I can't even say it right, the thorium molten salt reactors. Now that is a viable alternative because of the lack of waste or the minimalisation of the waste systems, plus the potential to power the world. They've been trying to get this fusion reactor sort of shit going for how many years now? It's always a few years away. It's always a few years away. It's been always a few years away since the late 70s. Still no closer. What we need is Tony Stark's arc reactor, but I don't think that's ever going to happen to see the light of day either. But
and cold fusion's just been around the corner for a decade or two. So.
Yes, beer o'clock. Chris, g'day, Chris. So we have got solar. I see you're saying Pan has not been demolished, has been decommissioned, but it's still there. New small fusion reactors are so much better. And there is a lot of development in these small fission reactors as well. Minimal output. Don't forget, it is a viable energy source, but what they need to do is, currently most of these energy sources still involve a steam engine, which to me is wrong. That's 17th century, right? Is still the basis for all these reactors that they're building. It's a steam engine. It's just a different way of heating the water. What they need to do is they need to come up with an alternative. Okay, so we've got wind and solar and everything else like that. We've got geothermals. But again, they need a better system of distributing the power. That's where the biggest problem we got. I still believe the way they should be doing it. Unfortunately, I can't find a valid index fund that would be something I could basket across the board, basing on hydrogen fuel, where you use the sun to crack the oxygen-hydrogen bond in water. You use that, you sort of tap off the oxygen for medical supplies, you tap off the hydrogen, which can then be used in what they call solid-state batteries, through using membrane, what they call hydrogen fuel cell batteries. This is what I see as a validity of the industry going forward in the next 10 years, but I still can't find like an index fund that would really sort of encapsulate that, and it's still very much in experimental stages. There's been a little bit of hype coming out of Europe recently on the hydrogen fuel sort of thing, and Australia should be doing everything it can to use that wasted land out the back of like Orange and Bathurst, where it's got sun 95% of the time throughout the year, and building solar farms to crack water. That's what they should be doing, but again, where's the water? Well, China owns it now. It's crazy shit. As for the problem that we was talking about there on Utopia, well, what we should be doing is we should be moving into what they call sustainable vertical farming, like they got in Singapore. It takes up a tenth of the land, it uses 95% less water than conventional farming, and produces sustainable goods. Sustainable, replaceable, food stock. But we do need to think about curbing the population growth of the planet, unfortunately. That seems to have been maintained and has a steady decline in Western countries, but China's still breeding like a house full of rabbits. So's India, breeding like a house full of rabbits. And South Africa again, these third world countries, they I suppose they got nothing else to do apart from fucking, without contraception. What are you supposed to do about that shit? N-type IBC solar panels are 20% efficient and fairly inexpensive now. Very competitive. Like even Musk's roof tile sort of system has a good potential for making a new energy source.
Now the wind generation on the Columbia River Gorge has gotten to where it generates so much electricity that the regular power generating dams are complaining because there's less demand for their power.
Mm-hmm.
They're wanting the windmills shut down so that they can continue to sell their power.
Yeah, everybody's getting into the power game, but again, it's just because again, power's got a cash value, but the cash value is becoming so that's a dwindling, and there's government policy coming into place now to prevent the overproduction of power. What they should be doing is they should be shutting down, 50-year-old nuclear reactors. They should be shutting down, anything coal-fired. But what you got? You got China building more and more coal factories, and then Australia's digging holes in the ground to give them the coal. Come on, it's a joke. It really is. Bishop Knight, a great stream tonight today. Whatever. Hopefully we can use wind and solar to bridge us until we can crack fusion. But I don't see us building Dyson.
I don't see any Dyson spheres in the near future either.
Well, so Dyson spheres are the wrong thing. Why would you even consider Dyson spheres? How do you create gravity with a Dyson sphere? This is the one thing that's always perplexed me. How do you create the gravitational system with a Dyson sphere? No, you can't, because the spin only works on a small section of the thing.
Right,
and
there would only be a small sector where there would be gravity.
So why spend all that money and all that resource to build a Dyson sphere?
A ring world.
A ring world is the answer. Yes, a ring world, right?
But
And
a Dyson sphere would work if you had artificial gravity. If you
Yeah.
create artificial gravity, a Dyson sphere would work.
well, even
Gravity. The ring world.
why even go to that extent when you can sort of look at something like Babylon 5, the amount of resources to even build a ring world, as I said, Larry Niven explored this thing here in the early 70s in his ring world series, right? And of course they reworked ring world into Doomsday Device. What was it? The Halo, wasn't it? The game Halo. That's based on when the ring world collapses. What else is there? There was another thing that did the ring world. Ender's Game. There was also there was a, what was that one where he strapped that thing on his back? You know, he was had the frame on his back. I can't remember the name of that one was. Yeah, they had the problems on Earth, and all the elites lived in the ring around Earth. But yeah, like even building a Babylon 5, you know, that is something that is doable with today's technology, apart from the cost of getting up there. But yeah, sort of creating the gravity in a sort of, you know, an artificial environment, but not one Babylon 5. You create societies, you know, in these, you know, in these habitations, and even in what was it? Even in Expanse, you know, they were doing it. That Mormon shit that they seconded and threw at Eris to try and blow Eris up. You know, again, you know, that's been. In the series, where are they currently? That's currently in the ring, in the portal area, isn't it? It's got they moved that inside the portal, and that's now the base that they're doing all the operations from for all the different planets in yeah. But anyway, that sort of construction it's doable in today's technology, apart from the cost. It doesn't require, you know, any new industry. And this is something that where Musk and what's the other guy that does Blue Origin? No, Origin. Is it Orange Blue or Blue Origin? Is it Blue Origin? Blue Origin homepage.
Thinking of Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, so this who does Blue Origin? Which I think is it Bez, isn't it?
Bezos.
Bezos, that's it. Yeah.
Only 2.8 million for C.
Yeah, it's only 2.8 million. It's all right. Got to fund it sort of somehow. But see, Musk has gone one way and is being funded by. Obviously, NASA has taken the Musk approach, but in my opinion, Bezos has got the right idea. He's basing his industry on a paper published in the 70s about sustainable living in a zero gravity environment, or in an artificial gravity environment. As Robert Anton Wilson would say, you know, once you leave a gravity well, why the hell would you want to go back into another gravity well? Right? The whole idea is we should be a race. We build these arcs in space where we have, you know, 100,000 people, right, as a sustainable, replaceable, you know, life pod, and we should be using that to explore the universe. Get these things moving, you know.
Well, you know what they say, planet is a good place to be from.
Yeah, going back into one, that's a
Far
joke.
from.
Be far from, yeah. I'm just trying to think of the name of the guy that he bases his thoughts on process, but he's into the whole idea of the sustainable life in a zero gravity environment, like, you know, once you've left the gravity well. But it's not the people who fund Blue Origin, right, are regular people and not far thinkers. They think for the now and think for the. They think for the, you know, the initial returns that they want to invest on, and, you know, these far-flung missions, you know, the returns will happen in 50 years. They're not going to be alive in 50 years. They don't give a shit, right? And this is the problem we got in all today's society. If only Musk would change his thinking about going back into a gravity well and reposition himself into a zero gravity genre, right, then we would have a sustainable humanity for forever, basically. But isn't that the premise of what they did with Krypton? Isn't that the basis for the Superman origins? That's what Krypton did, you know, thousands of years ago.
The latest one where all the kids were being born by
I didn't see the.
odd.
Did you see the Krypton series? I think that's been discontinued, but they were doing the backfill story of of Superman, filling in that, and of course the time traveler. There's always a time traveler involved. I always hate the time traveler thing. But yeah, I'll have to find information about this thing here, because the original paper that he bases his ideas on, right, is quite astounding and very far-fetched and far-thinking. Not far-fetched, but it's far-thinking. And unfortunately, it's like every government. Every government's only in power for 2 to 4 years, right? Every president only has a 4 to 8 year term, right? They want to be the people who bring these sort of things in. It was only, we only got to the moon originally because there was a sort of there was an upsurge and a race between us and between America and Russia. And again, we talked about that series the other day, For All Mankind, where they posit the whole alternate story, which was Russia got to the moon first, right? And it's been a moon race, and now it's a Mars race. Just the whole paradigm changes because Russia didn't have the funds to take on America and be second to the moon. They just basically gave up. But America being America, well, they might not have been the first on the moon, but they were going to be the first to colonise the moon. You get the idea? It's that competition sort of level, which has obviously created the funding. But it all comes down to funding. People want their pound of flesh, They don't want to buy it 50. They don't want to cash in 50 years from now. They want to buy their yacht now. They want to buy their Ferrari now. The people who have got the money, they want to. Oh, I've got to have another Ferrari. I've got to have another yacht. I've got to have another $10 million house somewhere, because it makes me look good. Well, 6 foot under, you don't look very good 6 foot under when the worms are eating your body. I just think people need to have a longer, far-fetched, thinking process of how the world will be. I'll do my bit. China's rover is having problems. I haven't been keeping abreast of the China America enough to. The population here is increasing by 1 million every 3 years. Well, again, we need to. Population growth needs to be curbed. I after watching Utopia and having that thought process, I do think we need to have some sort of mandate, or I think the term that was brought in the 70s was ZPG, zero population growth, which is again something that Larry Niven talked about in the Larry Niven universe, right? Set a couple of 100 years in the future, where ZPG was a thing. That basically was a mandate across all the inhabited world, places on that they'd got to. The fact that they controlled society, and they had, this is obviously the foundation for one of the people that did the exploration to Ringworld, because they thought of moving to Ringworld because of the expansive area. But so there was a zero population growth, and then they had the birthright lotteries, which is so. Didn't China try something like that? You could only have have one child. That was your birthright. What caused the problem in their industry these days, because they were killing female children for male children, or all that sort of stuff, and they realised it was a bad move. But yeah, so in Larry Niven's universe, they had zero population growth was a mandate on Earth, and they had the birthright lotteries, and Tila or Tricia, or I can't remember the name, started with T. She was a 12th generation birthright lottery winner. They'd actually bred luck into the population with the birthright lotteries. That was the puppeteer's mandate anyway. That was why they brought in the whole thing, because they wanted a lucky human to go and explore this ring world. If a puppeteer was going to be on a ship, they wanted a lucky human to go with them, because they were puppeteers, Anyway, if you don't know Larry Niven, then supposedly Larry Niven's a lot of Larry Niven's stuff has actually appeared in different forms in different sci-fi series. But I would really love to see some budding studio take a look at the whole genre of Larry Niven's universe, and then rework that series, right, from start to finish. You'd have 10 seasons of material, easily, with the stories that you could develop out of it, because it was so expansive. He's one of my favourite science fiction authors. What about you? You like
Spock of the pack.
Huh? Spock of the
The Spock of the pack.
the pack protector you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They ate the guy ate the potato and
the
became
potato,
the protector.
Oh yeah. I know the one you mean. I couldn't remember the name of the story. Yeah, that's right. There was this part in the series as well that so we go from childhood to adolescence to adulthood. He also posits the fact that there was another stage of evolution of the human species that has been precluded from our species, simply because the fact that there is a particular food that grows on Ringworld, because it was kept aside, that actually sort of gives us our fourth stage of evolution. When we're in adulthood, then we eat this food, and we actually sort of evolve into the final part of our species, which seems to, like, in my mind, oh my God, that really explains why the human race is doomed to failure, because we have lost that final stage of what they call in spiritual circles, in pagan circles, what's happened to the crone phase, right? The protector phase of our species, the old teaching the young, because now we have schools, young teaching the young. The old can't be bothered with it, because we've lost our way. We still have a few people. Go on.
I said I can't put up with the fucking young.
Exactly. Craig Garrison. The culling of the herd will occur soon enough. Well, isn't that what they're doing in COVID right now? Or about to sort of take an untested vaccine, right? Who's to know that it doesn't have a protein in it that will combine in the brain that will force sterilisation, right? Do we have the numbers, right? We've had how many people in America have been vaccinated now with?
I'm sorry. I think there's going to be a baby boom from this whole COVID-19 thing.
You think so?
Because people were forced to stay at home, and I think there is going to be a baby boom, in my opinion.
Well, maybe a baby boom, but I'd like to see the numbers.
There's nothing else to do.
I'd like to see the numbers, right? The people. You go on, Sean.
I was just going to say that would imply that that those couples were already at home and
Yeah.
Yeah.
not,
I'm talking to people, and they're saying that they're seeing the people out in the restaurants. A lot of them have babies with them.
it might be a slight bump, but I don't know if it'd be like an after World War II type baby or anything like that.
I mean, when you can't go out and party and hang out, what are you going to do? You stay home and breed.
Well, isn't that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It'd have to be current couples.
Not necessarily.
Maybe
I'm sure
already.
there were people that were, stuck in their apartment complexes together, and they're like looking at each other out the windows. It's like, what are you doing today? Same thing I did yesterday. Absolutely nothing. Well, you want to do nothing together? Sure, why not?
It does happen, though. It does happen.
Because you've got such large apartment complexes in these large cities, where you've got 500 people locked in a building together. Some of the large high rises and stuff in Seattle, New York, LA, Phoenix. There's a lot of people in those little complexes, and they got nothing else to do, and there's no place to go and do anything. So they stay at home, they get drunk, they get busy. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was, maybe not a huge boom like after World War II, but it wouldn't surprise me if this didn't generate a bump in population.
No, but I would still like to sort of see the numbers of post-vaccine, right? has the birth rate increased or decreased on that group? That would be a big question. Are they tracking numbers of that? You know, I'm sure the numbers exist, right? And whether we can really sort of say that it's actually happening already, but who's to know? You know, like, you know, the whole RNA sequencing of, you know, these RNA, or, you know, mRNA, what do they call it? It does create a sort of a genetic deposition to create an antibody. What else is it doing to the human genome? And I am pretty sure that the governments of the world, or the labs of the world, have been looking for the magic elixir, right, which will create automatic sterilisation. You know, not so much for the planet, but for ethnic groups. I'm sure that's being worked on in sort of some secret lab somewhere. You know, I always come down to Occam's razor. So, you know, like the most obvious Occam's razor one, I think we've already mentioned it here today, or it's been mentioned today, is the conspiracy about the fact that the virus was created in a lab, and there's more and more evidence surfacing around that particular mandate. Yet it keeps on getting poo-hooed by all the authorities around the world as being, oh, you're making up stories. But here we have is an Occam's razor situation. Yes, you can definitely see a defined, you know, cause and effect process going on over the last 18 months. Tangible cause and effect, and yet even to this day they sort of say it jumped species, but they can't identify a species that jumped to, or anything else in their current cover story. So you've got definite tangible proof and a very hairy-fairy species jump viral vector. So when it comes down to the Occam's razor, who do you ally yourself with? Something that has tangible, you know, obvious tangible repercussions, plus all the conspiracy about certain scientists going missing. It's like a what do you call it? What was that? Trying to think of a TV series, but yeah, it has all the pieces fit together. Like it's like a jigsaw puzzle that has definite fitting pieces against something that they can't prove and they can't validate is the cover story that they're currently using. And I've got to sit there and go, well, what happened to Occam's razor here? The most obvious answer is the true answer. That's all you can say, right? So it was created in the lab. So why was it created? That's the next question. Can we really validate why it was created? Well, the only thing after watching Utopia, yeah, I can sort of see why it was created, because governments of the world need to reduce the population. They don't want to have wars because what it means with nuclear holocaust. They can't have. They've found that localized population reductions in places like Middle East and things like that, and Afghanistan, they don't work either because it creates dissension amongst all the snowflakes around the world, right? So you can't have localized wars. So they've got to go to the next stage, right? And what's that? Well, using a virus makes sense to me. Cobbard baby bust. You reckon that? I see somebody's actually done the research for me. What's this one here?
Yep, there's actually a bust instead of a boom.
Trying to find. Okay, that's one of the Wall Street Journal. Okay, I trust the Wall Street Journal. That's usually a middle of the road. In Italy, births plunged 21.6% in December from the previous year, according to the first estimates of by Italy's statistical agency. Yep, so there we go. So there's some validation of what I was just sort of saying. Now, I honestly, I was just thinking that out aloud right now after watching Utopia, right, for the last 2-3 days as a series which was produced in 2013, has me thinking about this, and here we have already validation that what my mind is thinking has already been validated out of sort of data that's coming out of the country already, out of certain countries. So it also, it's, like that's like the final piece of the puzzle, isn't it? This is why we are dealing with COVID right now. This is a ZPG event going on right now. Brazil's population crashing too, but that's because they're dying. But an organised culling by world governments. Will, I have to agree with you there. So there we go. Let's talk about that for the next. Well, sorry, we've got 5 minutes left of the series. 5 minutes left of the program.
It does kind of make sense if you look at who it affected the most, right?
Yeah. Of course, now we want to sort of see if it actually has a genetic deposition towards any particular genomic vector, like what they call racial vector. What it does sort of seem to be doing is it has a definite effect on the weak immunity systems, which I suppose is a good thing in sort of some respects. Obviously, a lot of my friends have genetic depositions for health-wise, so it's a bit of a shame for seeing your friends suffer from that. But we've been gradually over the last 300 to 400 years, bypassing the natural order of evolution. With doctors and modernisation and everything else, and medicines and so on and so forth. We're doing better to make our people live longer. Don't forget, only 80 years ago from today, only 80 years ago, the average lifespan of the human species was 40 years old. If you lived to 50, you were one of the lucky ones. If you lived to 60, my age, you would be you'd be equivalent to 100 years old now. And we've got people now living to 100 years old. Didn't happen, 50 years.
They just had somebody celebrate their 105th. They put a big billboard in town.
Yeah. So what's the safe way to do it? Well, killing the species off is not the safe way to do it. I do like the whole idea of the utopia idea. Let's sterilise the population without killing them, so the fact that they will breed themselves out of existence. Only 5% surviving, but putting a genetic vector into the Roma species, well, that was I don't know why that was chosen, but yeah, I suppose because that was his species, wasn't it? That was the inventor's heritage. But yeah. Excellent. And a new HIV vaccine in clinical trials now. At the same time, it's been 37 years. Don't hold your breath. They said ARV meds work great, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, we're on time to go. Yes, I think it is time to go. Culling is economic. It's expensive having rat rags. Yes.
Mayor Groves.
Yeah, good to have you along, Robert, and we'll catch up with you next time. I don't think I missed anybody's names on this run. 70s is the new 50s. Yeah, 70s is the new 50s, exactly. Plenty of room to farm. Well, vertical farming is the answer there, and it's been done very successfully in places like Singapore. That's the model for vertical farming right now. 95% less water, great reduction in fertilizers, great reduction in everything. 10% of the land usage for 200% more output. Plus, you can farm all round. You don't get sort of seasonal changes. Do that with what they call what do they call it when you got they put fish in the water supply that they use to build the farms. That's it's another. It's not agriculture. It's agriculture and aquaculture, isn't it? Aquaculture. You combine it with aquaculture, so you actually create the protein foods and fish. Right, changes the whole paradigm. Luke Van Poorn, g'day fellas. Luke, we're just wrapping things up, so you're a bit on the late side, but it's all good. 80 years ago was only 1940, exactly. You start to think about it now. More people is overrated. Let's focus on quality over quantity. Yeah, I agree with you.
Were we even at 1 billion people in 1940? I know we were under 2 billion when I was in school in the 70s.
I don't know. I think I saw a population graph.
2.3 billion.
I suppose a global population.
1940.
Have we got something that we got to images? I'm sure we'll have something. Bill Gates, I think those population challenge and horizon. World population in millions. That doesn't really help us, does it? Oh, that's billion. So we got so that's 2.4. It's not an easy graph to read. So 1850 was probably, so 1900s was about 1 billion. 2.4 billion is saying 1950. So it was but don't forget there was a culling there with the World War II and World War One. So not a really easy graph to read. That's not pretty low res, isn't it? Not easy. All sizes, large. Let's see if we can get a large one. Aquaculture. Yeah, I was trying to think of the name there. Of course, thanks. Trying to get a decent picture out of these things, but none of these graphs are coming through anything good. Yeah, I could probably find it given half an hour. I could probably find a decent one, but right now I don't think we're really I think we're striking
not a
out.
graph, but I've got there's a wiki on it, estimates of historical world population from throughout the years. Yeah.
So what have we got? What have we got on 1946?
It lists the numbers 1946.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 1940 was 2.3 billion. 1950 was 2.6 billion. 1960 was 3 billion. Right now we're sitting, 2016, the last numbers they have is 7.3 billion.
7.3. I think it's actually higher than that. Well, that's a quick screen. How's business for foreigners going there during COVID? It's horrible. Yeah, from what I've seen with business there, I've seen it's a struggle if you're in the conventional sort of business that foreigners are doing, like the entrepreneurial types of business, which is usually around bars and entertainment, is what foreigners tend to sort of deal with. But I hear one of my friends has got a laundry in Pattaya. He says doing very good. Business doing roaring trade in Pattaya for a laundromat where you bring your clothes and wash them. He's doing quite well. But as I said, bars and clubs and anything to do with the entertainment industry, that's really suffering quite badly. As for other business, like multinationals are still making money. We talk about tourism being 20% of the economy here in Thailand, but we don't talk about the fact that there's still 80% of the economy growing, right, through other things like manufacturing, trade, all the other things that are farming, exports, this is still working quite well. It's only the tourist industry which employs, 10% of the Thailand population. The government's having to fork out to keep these people alive because they can no longer make their own living, and push comes to shove, and it's just, it upsets the apple cart. It upsets the people who are invested in those industries, and those people who are invested in those industries, we take the industry, the entertainment industry around Thailand. Well, I have no doubt in my mind that there is video that is damaging for certain people high up in the upper echelon in the stratified society of Thailand. That's why it's allowed to be kept under the rug and continue, and those people who have that evidence, right, are constantly sort of at the governments to say, we will release videos if you don't make things work for us. That's where my mind sits with those ideas, right? Too many people have done too many bad things, and there's evidence. That's why the thing is such a fucked up situation right now, because everybody wants their pound of flesh, and it's all coming undone. But industry's doing quite well, from what I understand. The numbers from industry, the exports are doing good. This is why the Thai baht is higher than it should be, because the balance of trade, the export versus imports, they should relax some of the import rules to bring in some of the other stuff, but then of course then that would affect the exports, right, and then devalue the Thai baht against the world currencies. Get the idea? It's one of those money games. That's why it's always on constant money watch throughout the major brands. Shortage of timber products getting into Australia. That's because they don't do the right thing and grow forests in Australia. What a smart idea that would be. Yeah, right. I'd marry the robot in humans in a heartbeat. She is quite cute, I must admit. Chris Brand, yes.
I'd marry her and have her little robot babies. That's what I'd
Having robot babies. Robot rugrats, oh my god. Yes, but not much.
Put me over her desk. I'd just keep building them.
Is
Robin-
robot child support like half as much?
I don't know. It's,
Because the robots are fully formed, so you'd have them go out and do work for you.
don't you just plug them in? You don't have to feed them, clothe them, or anything else. They can clothe themselves, they can feed themselves. You just plug them in at night, that's it.
I want a whole stable of robot hookers that I can send out.
Make money for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Robert McInerney, g'day Robert, how you doing? We're just trying to wrap things up here, but as it's, we're going over time a little bit. Would be cool if they could transfer our thoughts and feelings into an well, Roger, sorry. Yes, I think I keep on going back to the transcendence with what was his name? The guy. He did the Pirates. What's his name? God, I'm having a real blank with names for actors. The movie Transcendence, anyway, is what I'm thinking of.
Saw it here. Warren starting to lose his.
Oh, I moved my marbles. Yeah, that's it. My mind is not attuned to, I love the entertainment value. I don't do the what they call the Bill Collins, anymore, which was our movie buff of the 80s. Remembering all these actors' names. But yeah, the movie Transcendence, where he uploads himself and he becomes transcendent. This is again what Kurzweil, this is the Kurzweil angle of society and the singularity. Kurzweil's idea of singularity will be the advent of a fully sentient AI by 2029. And most of his thinking will be the fact that the sentience will be because somebody finally uploads a human consciousness into the global network and it becomes sentient, right? It just works out everything. It connects all the dots, right? And then we have transcendence. Still obviously has a foundation of that you need the connectivity. Well, what's Musk doing now? He's putting something out of the reach of everybody else in control of one person where But unfortunately, they're trying to stop that as well. I think the whole Starlink is going to be the ultimate form of transcendence, where you won't be on Earth, you will not be able to shut down the gateway. The information will flow freely and it'll be impossible to stop it, because like these cube satellites that run it, honestly, they're self-powering. They'll run for 150, 200 years or something like that. I can't remember how many years they run for. But you try and find them to shut them down, and they're all linked together into a massive global net. And not only that, that's Musk's version. You've also got, I think, Amazon trying to get final FDA approval, that flight approval, to launch their own Skynet. So that won't have just Musk's up there. We'll also have Amazon Prime doing the same thing. And I'm pretty sure there were 3 or 4 other companies, decentralising the whole global network of connectivity, so the fact that no one country can shut down the gateway. We're facing that over the next 5 years, so there you go. Never been to Australia, but I hope after the pandemic is over. Yeah, well, Australia's a nice place to visit. I just wouldn't want to live there. Bushfires hurt Australian timber market. Yes, I know. I want to see Australia before it becomes a Chinese colony. Yeah, well, they got the room to put half of China's population in Australia. US funding managed by Farsi was funneled into Chinese labs via Game of Fortune, which was research into general and transmitting cultivated virus to animals and humans. Rob C, yes, I have read those reports. They're tangible reports. At least that's more tangible than a viral vector jumping through unknown species, which is what the current cover story is. As I said, Occam's razor. I think good old Ray Kurzweil was a few decades too optimistic. No, I said, he's still taking 50 vitamins a day. His ideas. He's still quite an intelligent bloke. I probably need to up my my ginkgo biloba intake. To help my brain retain memory. I heard Perth is West Coast is nice. Well, a lot of people say West Coast Perth, and I've never been there. I can't really compare it, but when it escaped either by accident or willingly from a lab, the Chinese government shut down travel to Wuhan to Beijing. Yep. Yeah, Rob, I said it all fits. I also believe that they already had the vaccine in place before it started. It was a controlled release. Or it was just an unfortunate release, They didn't realise it had such a long contact vector, or something like that. And somebody just, as I did, what was that movie where the ripped shirt? What was it? Outbreak. The movie Outbreak. Somebody ripped the shirt and they got infected because they got a rip in their clothing or something like that. Didn't realise it. Walked outside, started the vector. I hope to get to Taiwan before China takes over. Yeah, don't know if that's ever going to happen. G'day, how you doing? I can't translate that name. I keep on forgetting who it is. I think it's a foreigner with a Thai girlfriend or something like that. I remember from memory. I just can't read Thai. Anyway, I think we're carrying on a bit too much. I think it's time to wrap things up. We've still got a few viewers. We've still got a pretty good stuff. We've had a good, plus 35 to 40 viewing throughout the whole series, throughout the program. So that's pretty normal, for all my ranting and raving. Anyway, before you go, hit that like button, guys. Still 37 watching. Today is the 21st day of the 21st century, 21st week of the 21st year. Strange, interesting. play us the outro. That's it. Play us the outro music. Here it is. Anyway, thanks for joining in, Aussie, Sean. As I said, Mr. Was it? Trying to think of his earlier.
See you guys have a good weekend.
Zero Cool. Oh my God. I am really having trouble with remembering people's names these days. Anyway, we'll catch up with you later. Peace out and stay tuned. Hopefully we'll sort of get some more videos out next week. Bit more of the house and all that sort of stuff. See you later and bye for now.
I want you to